For Comedy Hype News, I'm Ramel Thompson. Action, adventure, and imagination were at the heart of many shows in the 1990s, captivating kids around the country from all walks of life. Networks such as Fox and the WB had specific children programming and blocks where nothing but these shows played just like the adult programs. While several shows became beloved forever to children from the time, Power Rangers was perhaps one of the most renowned, gaining fame quickly before remaining a fixture in pop culture throughout the 1990s. With the show originally premiering in 1993 as an adaptation to the cartoon version from Japan, audiences were anxious to see what the show would be. With the original Rangers came one that stood out in Walter Emmanuel Jones as Zach Taylor, or more famously, the Black Power Ranger. The Detroit product would go on to star in a slew of other films and television shows throughout his illustrious career, spanning decades and counting. These roles for Jones have come in spurts with little time off, showing that despite the magnitude of the roles each time, that the actor has remained busy. Outside of the most famous role of the original Black Power Ranger, Walter Emmanuel Jones has etched out a career forever making him unforgotten. Born on Detroit's West Side on November 30th, 1970, Walter Emmanuel Jones is an American actor, dancer, and martial artist. Jones came from a relatively normal home, with the most intense incident he often recalls of losing his middle finger at age 4. Throughout childhood and into his teens, Jones was enamored with martial arts and other ventures outside of acting. After graduating from Chula Vista High School, Jones would continue to commit even further to these ventures. A description of his life pre-acting is mentioned via TV tropes, revealing that he was a dancer for most of his life and spent much of his pre-Power Rangers career performing as a dancer and singer on cruise ships. He had been planning to go for an audition for the reality series Star Search as part of a group. For Jones, the pursuit of dancing and music with his group via Star Search was both a goal and journey that ran parallel to his acting debut. Luckily for Jones, as the group began to dissolve, a breakout role would come before he became etched in both pop culture and television lore forever. Beverly Hills 90210 would be the role that saw Jones get introduced to the world, albeit an uncredited role, before a small role in 1992's Malcolm X would set the stage for him to earn his most successful role to date. The popularity of the shows helped to get him on the map in the acting world, and his past skills would serve as a springboard for his role as a Power Ranger. Having been well versed in martial arts, dancing, singing, and natural gymnastics, Jones would faithfully answer a casting call for the show and impress, landing a role as a series regular. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers debuted on August 28, 1993 during Fox Network's children's block. Being an instant success, the program would go on to be screened in over 40 countries around the world and bringing in billions in revenue. On the show, Jones played Zach Taylor, who was also the Black Power Ranger and one of the 5 teenagers that were chosen to protect the Earth in this fictional sci-fi action thriller that had already built a cult following abroad in Japan. With such great popularity so fast for the show and money coming in at a similar rate, naturally stars of the show requested more for their services. According to Digital Spy, the original Black Ranger, Walter Emmanuel Jones, spent a season and a half playing Zach Taylor before finding himself replaced by Johnny Young Botch after a contract dispute. Jones provided voices on the show too, lending his vocal talents to many villains and monsters. The dispute was due to the fact that the show was non-union, and this ended up with the crew working long-hour days and often being underpaid. As a form of protest, Jones would leave the show along with a few others, never again appearing in his role as the original Black Power Ranger. Some felt that the Black Ranger being Jones was a joke. However, he embraced it from the start, saying that black was actually his favorite color and that him being a symbol for young youth was always cool, regardless of how long he was on the show. Mad Bros Media interviewed Jones in 2022 at the Emerald City Comic Con, where he opened up even more about the impact of the Black Ranger. According to the short meeting, being the Black Ranger was not my choice, but I embraced it and loved the role regardless of any old jokes. There was an element of hip hop and other things I was doing in my real life that I got to bring to the screen, like my martial arts and as much dancing as I could get in there. It's worth noting that Jones was excited during the interview, but more concerned to see eager fans of the various Power Ranger installments that may be more familiar with his voiceover work as a monster in the series. Jones's fame would see him quickly capture roles both within television and movie industry, slowly building up his resume. Jones was properly casted in shows such as Family Matters, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Moesha, and NYPD Blue, as the actor displayed his exceptional range and knack for bringing any character he played to life in a unique way. This marked a golden age for his career, as he would work with networks such as Disney for 1998's Brink and 2002's American Gun. Voice acting came into the picture for Jones through Power Rangers. However, his most famous roles would come from other programs. For the sequels of Open Season and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs respectively, Jones lent his voice, notching a major achievement in his career given the box office success of both films, and further showed his crossover appeal after having more serious roles such as CSI Investigation at the beginning of the 2000s. As roles continued to pile on, it became clear that Jones wanted to continue to venture into his past passions of dance and singing, even in the midst of his ever-growing career. A spot in the 2004 Mayan International Salsa competition saw the actor realizing his talents on a larger scale, showing just how seriously he takes anything. His notoriety in the dance world even culminated in a short-lived reality series titled Age of Love on June 18, 2007, before being canceled after just one season. For Jones, he sees the expression of all his talents as needed to be able to say he gave himself every opportunity to be great and the room to develop more ideas in order to continue uncovering his many talents. In the mid to late 2000s, Jones began to appear more publicly as a legacy character for Power Rangers after having returned to the show to voice over villains for Power Rangers Lost Galaxy in 1999 and Power Rangers Wild Force in 2002. Having attended conventions themed around Power Rangers in the past, Bionic Buzz was able to catch up with the esteemed star at yet another, as he made an appearance at the 2022 Comic-Con held in San Diego. When asked about life and his career, the actor claimed he was happy and having fun. More specifically, during his short red carpet interview, Jones said, "I have a lot planned. New projects, new music, some poppin' house, so I'm really just excited to put out, and I think the fans are going to love it. The music is fun energy music, and it's cool, so good stuff to look forward to." Even as Jones has met other stars and worked on numerous sets, friendships built during the first Power Ranger installment remain strong. In 1999, Jones returned to host Power Rangers, The Lost Episode, with the original Red Ranger and lifelong friend in Austin St. John. His friendship with the original Green Ranger in Jason David Frank remained close as well prior to his passing in 2022. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly in 2023, it was announced that both an anniversary to celebrate 30 years of the show and a new series would be coming to the streaming giant Netflix titled Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. Featuring only two original Power Rangers in David Yost as the Blue Ranger and Walter Emmanuel Jones, the treatment of the show and perceived excitement from the cast has created a whirlwind of excitement about the series all over again. During the sit-down, the show is described saying, "The new adventure sees the Rangers come face to face with a familiar threat from the past. In the midst of a global crisis, they are called on once again to be the heroes the world needs, inspired by the legendary mantra from the franchise, once a Ranger, always a Ranger." This news got the attention of many fans, both old and young, considering the over 20 renditions of the show there have been since its inception in the United States. In addition to this, a full-on series continuing the story titled Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, building upon the Dino Fury installment of the franchising and answering questions held by fans who waited for years for this fateful series. That series is set to hit Netflix in the fall of 2023 and should be met with much fanfare and a host of twists and turns, creating more memories for the history of the show. For Walter Emmanuel Jones, it is clear that regardless of whatever other roles he takes on in his career, the virality of Power Rangers Once Upon a Time keeps the image of the Black Ranger instilled in the eyes of many. Whether the next big project from Jones is a pop record, house record, or a movie role we've never seen him in, one thing for sure is that he's still enjoying creating. There will be a number of new roles for him to fall in love with and hopefully hit records to do the same. However, with a resume like this, it's no shock that Walter Emmanuel Jones remains unforgotten. Stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel, follow Comedy Hype across all social media, and look out for original content on our new streaming service at comedyhype.com. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Ramil Thompson.